What is going on, everybody? Non here, and we got an early one today. I have some stuff to do this afternoon, so I figured I would do this early. I want to talk about showing receipts when it comes to the information that's out there and what you can glean when it comes to print runs. No, this is not micropenis showing receipts. This is just how I personally work through questions and issues and try to come to the best idea of how much products I actually print. So I made a video a little while ago. This was before the Mega Charizard UPCs came out. And I told you guys that they started manufacturing these in March of April 2025, and there were going to be somewhere around 3 million units that were printed. So just a resource gave me that information, and really not a whole lot of corroboration until the product ships. And one product ship, and you get pallets of product. A lot of times the packing slip is on there. And sometimes the packing slip is worthless. Other times the packing slip gives you all kinds of great information. I had a packing slip that I think I showed in one of my videos, and I didn't have a chance to pull it up, so it kind of is what it is. For the Pokeball tins, the 2025 Q4 Pokeball tins, and there were somewhere around 78,000 of those units manufactured. And you can see that because on the on the actual packing slip itself, it tells you how many are on each pallet, how many are in each case, and then what pallet of what pallet is getting shipped to you. So moving on to getting back to the Mega Charizard, what we have here, this is a very, very trimmed and sanitized packing slip from the Mega Charizard XEX Ultra Premium Collection. So here's your SKU, and here you have. Let me get this out of here. So there's 39 cases of 4 each per pallet, so 156 units on each one. And here you have 16,353 total pallets. You can do the math. It comes out to just over 2.55 million units of the Mega Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. Now, this is most likely not all of them. Chances are these are manufactured to go to your regular distribution, could be your MJ Holdings, your Excel. What I don't know is I don't know if this is all encompassing. If I had to guess, it's not. And there are other packing facilities that put this together. And just so you guys know, and this really dovetails into the new Pokemon manufacturing facility. Pokemon outsources a lot of the packaging production and then a lot of the packing. So they're printing the packs in-house. They're sending the packs to somebody like the group that did this, which is sanitized. It's not on here, where they're taking the packs. They're manufacturing the packaging, and then they're packing the packs in the manufacturing. They're palletizing everything, and then they're shipping it out to its ultimate destination. So, and it's interesting too, because I've heard many folks mention that if the product is coming directly from Pokemon, they have a lot of visibility into when it ships and when they're going to get it. When it's coming from one of the third-party packers, a lot of times it just shows up and they don't even know it's coming or when it's coming. That was 100% the case with these Mega Charizards, especially Wave 2, which came 3+ weeks after it was supposed to. So that being said, this gives me added confidence when I have folks that I trust tell me or say, hey, Anon, there are 700,000 super premium collections being manufactured. They're all being sent to Big Box, Costco, Sam's. And then we see that I think it's Costco comes out and they put it on their site, and all the notification folks are like, hey, look what we found, et cetera, et cetera. It just gives me a much higher degree of confidence that that information is in fact correct. And as we've seen, the amount of product that goes to big box stores, Sam's, Costco, even the Excel and MJ Holdings customers like Target and Walmart, it doesn't really move the needle on this stuff. And I think this is kind of where Pokemon had overestimated what the impact would be for shifting their print strategy in 2025, more away from distribution, more toward big box. And I think that's why they're pushing it back. So Excuse me. Just about over this cold for the first time in forever. Um, so this brings me to my last point. So I've been mentioning all through 2025 what Pokemon is saying about when their print their print capacity is going to increase and what the timing of that is. That comes from a series of contacts at distribution at Pokemon at these individual third party manufacturing plants. And it's really just a means to ballpark what does the world look like? Because in my view, I don't want to get caught. I don't want to get surprised, right? So if I order 1,000 units, just pull a number out of my butt, and I only get 300, that's fine. I don't really care about that. But if I order 1,000 units and I get 1,000 units, I'm going to be thrilled. But then all of a sudden, if the price goes to distribution price or below, then it's kind of one of those oh crap moments. What's going on? So it's always good to keep your ear to the ground to see what the world looks like. So that being said, I've mentioned for months now that there is a significant reprint coming, most likely the end of Q1. So I'm going to connect the dots for you guys. So the same or similar type facility that we received the Mega Charizard packing set from were also engaged to manufacture, supposedly, to manufacture packaging for Phantasmal Flames booster boxes for delivery the end of February or March of 2026. Now, none of this in and itself is surprising. What's surprising is this plant doesn't generally, or has not in recent memory, manufactured booster box packaging. They do a lot of the specialty stuff. So that's a long-winded way of saying that the Pokemon Company is doing something that it hadn't done before. It's now pushing booster boxes and reprints of booster boxes, presumably to come with Mega 3. Now, we don't know if that's the case, but their MO is to ship restocks, reprints of booster boxes with their normal set release. That's what they've done pretty much consistently over the last couple of years, etc. But the purchase order for the amount of packaging was approximately 1.5 million units. Now, whether that's 1.5 million units coming to the US, whether they're helping out with some of the European challenges, whether they're sending them to big box stores, which I don't think they are, because generally speaking, there is some price sensitivity. That's part of the reason why there are really no booster boxes going to Target, Walmart, and there's going to be three clowns in the comments that are like, "Well, I bought this at Walmart." And it's a third-party seller, even if it's fulfilled by Walmart. It's a third-party seller, so just don't get your panties a bunch. But that being said, this is where the information comes from, and this is why it's important to kind of keep an open mind on this stuff, because now that there's increased manufacturing capacity, we have the new plant coming online. Even Rudy said that it wasn't going to start till 2027, I believe. There have been a lot of folks that said that, but it's factually incorrect because there's approximately 440,000 square feet that are available for manufacturing. Now, there's no build out on that. Now, they're obviously going to have to get the manufacturing equipment and everything in there. I'm assuming since they've most likely been working on this lease for months, it's been kind of ordered already. Now, I don't know what the lead time is on the packaging or on the actual equipment, but I would imagine the first thing they're going to do is they're going to take all of the packaging bottleneck from these third parties and they're going to move that in-house and they're going to start to do packaging. So that doesn't that doesn't increase capacity per se. It increases margin when it comes to how much they can outsource, how much they're outsourcing, how much they're insourcing. It also gives them ultimate control as to when they get the items. For example, they place an order with one of these third parties. They may or may not have capacity for the amount of volume at that point in time. This gives them carte blanche on what they can and can't do. So just because they have 440,000 square feet doesn't necessarily mean that all of a sudden, they're printing 25% more product. It just gives them a higher margin and more control over the product. It could be a multitude of different things. things. Now, like I said, presumably, I think they're going to in-house a lot of the packaging, which they've been outsourcing to groups such as this one. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But again, the fact that we're now triangulating the packing slips and the quantities referenced on the packing slips and the purchase orders with the information, I have an extremely high degree of certainty that we are going to see a sizable reprint of booster boxes at the end of Q3. And look, it may matter, it may not matter. Look at the Mega Charizard. All of these have been in the market for a long time. Oh, I think I'm locked up here. There we go. This is very slow. But, you know, you look at these, there's 2,500 left, right? 2,500 sold. These are going to drop super, super fast. And they're going to be at $200 before you know it, in a month or so, 2 months, whatever the number is. And it's going to be a very, very long time until we get another wave of reprints on these, because they are fairly complex to print. And now there are other demands. So I wanted to put out this video to show receipts, because there's different ways to triangulate what's true, what's not true. Now, if somebody said, hey, you know, we're going to print this, and I didn't have any corroborating evidence, you know, you obviously take it with a grain of salt. Now, obviously, we all know that there's a shitload of Mega Charizard UPCs on the market, but now we have a good idea of, at the very least, this is how much is out there. Most likely there's more than this, but I just want to share this with you guys. It really comes down to the credibility of the information that you get and how you digest that information. So anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and have a good one.